is Talisha, and today Jeopardy and I are competing at the Sutherland Shire Championships. So we have a little bit of a drive ahead of us today. Not too bad, but a bit longer than we normally go in a day. So yeah, we are competing in the Elementary 3A, 3B, and also the Novice 2A. Everything's packed and ready to go. Jep is out here getting restless. Obviously decided to like lay in the dirt overnight because she's all dirty. But yeah, she's got her boots on and she's just having something to eat, and then we're heading off. Jeppy is now on the float and ready to head off. She's got a really itchy face apparently. Jep, why are you so itchy? And it's voiceover time. I'm sorry for how late this video is going up, considering it was a while ago. Literally a week after the last show vlog you watched, so it was the weekend after that. But anyway, ignoring that it's late, this test I was so unhappy with. I don't know. I seem to think a test is really bad and it turns out better. Like the judges liked it. And I mean, watching it back, it doesn't look that bad. I've also cut little bits out of each test just to make this video shorter because I did 3 tests this day. But she's nice and forward. She's just a bit resistant in the contact. That's our first shoulder in. This is our second one. It's not really a great angle, so you can't really see much of it. But yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't happy with it. It just didn't feel anywhere near as good as our tests have been before. There was a bit of hesitation in that. She came above the vertical as well. We really struggle with our rein backs and keeping them neat. Like, she does them, but they just don't look nice. So that's something we really need to work on quite a bit, because they're just throwing away easy marks, which is not what I want. So here we have our first walk to canter, which was really nice and smooth. She's come a long way in her walk to canters. She doesn't anticipate them and get hot with them anymore. As you guys know, if you've been watching me for a little bit, I used to, I've never been able to do them in the warm-up. I've had to just wing it every time and go in the ring and hope she just gets it, because if I do too many of them, she works herself up and she starts to anticipate them when they're not actually coming. And she predicts it. That's what I'm trying to use. She tries to predict it. And she gets like that with flying changes as well. She just is that type of horse, and it's like she wants to do the right thing, and so she kind of wants to beat you to it, even when you're not asking for it. She's like, oh, I know it. It's going to come. It's going to come. But we're finally at the stage where we can actually do walk to canters in the warm-up and not go in and her predict them and get hot. Another really nice, neat one, which is really good. The more confident she becomes with them, it seems to be, the less she works herself up over them. But yeah, I don't know, this test wasn't as bad as I seem to have convinced myself it was, but I was really not happy with it. I think that canter circle looked a little bit too big. Yeah, my camera kept going out of focus this day as well. I don't really know what happened. Here we have our somewhat of a counter canter. Downwards transition to trot, which was quite nice. Nice little canter, another downwards transition. She had a lot of impulsion in this test, which was really nice. She looks quite lovely, in my opinion. I don't know, it doesn't look too bad when I watch it back. I think I'm just too harsh on myself. Oh, yeah. I hate this arena. What? Sorry. Here's our Novice 2A. Yeah, this arena was really not ideal. I mean, we did this competition last year and had the same issue. It's just a weirdly deep arena. I don't really know how to explain it, in all honesty. It's awkward. It had sticks along the middle of it. It was just, I don't know. It's probably the worst footing I've ridden her in, which is weird because it's still a sand arena, so you'd think it'd be better than like the grass ones I've ridden in, but it's really not. But yeah, so the 2A I was pretty happy with, but in my opinion, watching it back, I feel like the 3A was actually a bit better. I don't know. I think parts of the 3A was better than the 2A, and then parts of the 2A were better than the 3A. Here's our long rein trot, which, sorry if you heard that cat meow, ignore that, which was quite alright, apart from the second half. Now we have our walk. Not as good as it could have been. She could have shown more stretch. I say she, but I could have encouraged her to show more stretch. And here we have our left canter. Quite a nice little transition. And there's a lengthen, not that you can really tell from this angle. I really need to work on how I sit in the saddle. Might sound weird, but I always lean, like I kind of have this habit of collapsing my body slightly to one side, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's like to the left slightly. I think it comes from issues in my hips that came from dance. I seem to always favour sitting on my left hip, which is quite strange, but yeah, I think it's come from injuring myself couple years back and having like months and more years of problems with it. I feel like it's something I've unintentionally done and not realised until I started getting lessons and had a coach pointed out to me that I collapse my body, and I really try to focus on it, but it's quite hard when you don't realise you're doing it. It has improved quite a bit, but at some stages in circles and stuff, and it happens a lot in some of my lateral work as well. I just lean to the wrong side, which obviously puts my weight on the wrong side, like on what it should be sometimes, and I really try to focus on it, but sometimes when you're focusing on everything else, it just kind of, slips your mind. But yeah, that was a random little note, I guess. I don't know. I just don't really have much to say about some of these tests. That was a very average transition to hold. Not a bad hold though. So yeah, our final test of the day was the elementary 3B. Now this was the second time ever doing this test. If you watched my previous vlog, that was the first time doing it, and that was a week before this one, as I mentioned before. I was so happy with how this test went. Obviously, I just wanted improvement from the week before, and comparing this test to the test before, like the week before this test, it's a massive difference. So there's our travers, really nice, super angle and bend in her neck, kind of hard to see though. But it was such a huge difference, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend going back and watching, because there's just certain little things that are just within a week had been, fine-tuned so much nicer, and I was just really, really happy, honestly. Here is that was our shoulder in, one of our shoulder ins before, and this is the other travers. Again, really happy with this travers. She could have a bit more bend in that neck, but only slightly. I wouldn't want to ask for too much more, but that's something she struggled with, so there's been a lot of improvement with there. Our lengthen trot, coming into our rein back. This one was better than the 3A, still just kind of coming above the bit there, and a bit hesitant. We need to work on those a bit more. Then we have our long rein walk, coming up to our walk pirouettes, which our first one was shocking. Probably still a bit better than last week because she didn't trot into it, but it wasn't even like a pirouette really. She stepped out, and she really needs guidance in the right pirouette, and I just didn't support her. Our left one was so much nicer. She got a little bit stuck in one of those steps, but overall a much bigger difference compared to last week. Just got to work on fine-tuning them, but we haven't been doing those for long, so they're looking pretty good. Here we have our first walk to canter. Looked like there was a bit of a trot stride in between. We had our lengthen, and now we come into our simple changes, so walkthroughs. Such a big difference compared to the week before. So happy with these compared to the previous week. Obviously still not perfect, but I was just so happy with the improvement. That was quite abrupt, but she actually did a proper walkthrough at least. And now we come across for our counter canter into a another canter to walk. However, this one we always seem to struggle with. I don't know if it's because we're in counter canter, but I can never quite get it. It's still better than the week before, but it wasn't what it could have been. Another walk to canter. Her head kind of came up a little bit, but she still got the right leg, so we'll take it. And it was still a walk to canter. That was our lengthen. Now we are going for our final counter canter. Was really happy with her canter work in this. I'm just really happy with how much her canter has strengthened recently. And here we come up for our final halt. Eep. Yeah, it's alright. Oh, Kyle zoomed in on it. Thanks, Kyle. Let's just draw more attention to the uneven halt. So this was the final presentation, as it was their last comp of the year. Keep in mind, I didn't attend any of their other comps, yet we came home with reserve champion pony of the year out of all their comps with our scores. I also got a medal for my scores, because you had to have like 3 qualifying scores or something like that, and I got that in the one day, which it's supposed to go out throughout the whole year, but yeah, I got that too. So that was pretty funny and random. I wasn't expecting that, considering we only did one of the comps, but that was nice, as well as our first place ribbons and our little goodies bags, so it was good. Okay, so it is like hours later and I just got back from dinner because we went and got sushi. But overall, I am so happy with how today went. I wasn't very happy with my first test, but yeah, honestly, it was so good to end it on the elementary 3B, because as you guys know, that was the second time we've ever done that test. For it to be as neat and so much improvement from last week, like the other test was literally a week ago, and there was so much improvement, and then to also receive a qualifying score from it was just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I am so tired and ready for bed, so I'm going to end the vlog there. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!